road again. Just kidding, we're back.
Please don't do that. Shit.
My mom's like, can we get on the road with this podcast? Because she's like, Daphne, stop talking about how affectionate I am towards you and only you. And though she's denying it.
I got nothing to say. Although hi, Daphne. I was going to tell you, I was practicing gratitude, feeling gratitude. And so I just wanted to let you know that I appreciate you being my fucking
long ass.
I have to think of the word I'm looking for.
She's like, I have to thank you for,
Oh, God, let me think about what I want to thank you for. It's going to take me a while. No, I'm just kidding.
That's basically what just happened. I want to thank you for, you have nice hair to look at every day.
Anywho.
And even not every day.
Anyway, I was going to say that I want to thank you for being my partner in pod crime and all of the hard work that we put into this shit, because I listen to a lot of podcasts and at the end they're always like, we'd like to thank our writer and our technical writer and our researcher and this other researcher and our editor and the person who put the music on and
we're a two-man show
and the other. And I'm like, well, fuck. If we had all that, we wouldn't be all stressed out all the time about getting an episode out. But here we are, you and me. So Daphne, I'd like to thank you as my editor and my co-writer and co-researcher and co-adding music, my musical director.
I would say I am the musical director. Yeah, I would like to thank Adobe. Audition. You are so kind. You are very, oh my God, it's going to catch a huge breath there. I'm going to have fun editing this tomorrow. By the way, I'm going to be the one editing this.
I know.
How special.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to thank you. In advance.
Yeah, since I gave Mom a bunch of shit once upon a time for not ever editing.
Yeah.
She's been doing 100% of it since.
Yeah, since May. And it's going to be December tomorrow.
Okay, so what? That's like a fucking 6-month split for each of us. Happy birthday. Not even. It's my birthday next. This episode will go out the day before my birthday.
Yay. Assuming you fucking actually get it edited. Because you also are the quintessential procrastinator. And her dad signed her up for a procrastination class.
Can we not?
Which she stopped taking because it made her feel bad about herself.
It did.
Because she's a big old procrastinator.
I'm the worst.
Although procrastinators are high achievers. So that's cool.
And you know what? My entire last semester of undergrad, I didn't procrastinate once.
Awesome.
I did. I was like so ahead of the game on everything.
Nice. That's because you wanted to for sure graduate.
That's fair.
And if nothing else, out of spite.
Yeah. It's true spite to myself.
If for no other reason, just out of spite.
All right. Well, should we get on to my disturbing fact?
We probably should, since we're like 15 minutes in already.
Only 3.
Okay.
We're not having a horrible batting average tonight. This is crazy. Okay. Human bite, like if a human bites another human, you know, roughhousing in an attack, like whatever situation
yes, I understand the concept of someone biting someone else.
They're terribly dangerous.
Yeah, they fucking are, because your mouth is so fucking nasty.
Yeah. It can cause an infection, which it says the wound may appear minor, but there's a high risk of bacterial infections.
Yeah, because your mouth is nasty.
And it's on average, healthcare providers treat about 250,000 a year.
Wow. That's a lot of people biting a lot of people.
It is a lot of people biting a lot of people. So you're not wrong. And among bitten children, 10% develop an infection from bacteria found in human saliva. However, though, they only account for about 3% of those wounds that are seen in like an ER of bite wounds.
Of the 250,000?
The 250,000 is only about 3%.
Oh, gotcha.
Of bite wounds.
Gotcha.
Well, remember our neighbor was telling us about the cat that had to get put to sleep, her friend's cat that had to get put down because it bit her and she was like 20 minutes from death.
Wow. I don't
Apparently
remember.
You weren't there.
Yeah, I wasn't there. But I've been bit by a cat when I was working at the clinic, because I worked at a vet clinic forever and ever. But I got bit by a cat and my hand swelled up like a fucking baseball mitt.
Fuck that.
And then they put me on sulfa and I'm allergic to it apparently. So that didn't really help.
So
anyway, back to you, Daphne.
Yeah, I was going to say that fucking sucks. I remember it like got all nasty and pussy and swollen.
It was fucking gross.
Yeah, it was horrible. So I have a list here for you of who's the most at risk if you get bit by another person.
Okay, please.
So you're at risk if you were bitten on your hand, foot, face, scalp, or a sensitive bone or joint.
Who bites someone on the foot?
I don't know. Maybe a child bites like their parent or something.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Take medications that suppress your or alter your immune system.
Okay.
Have diabetes. Have a substance use disorder. Have vascular disease. Or are over the age of 50.
All of those things make you high risk. I get it.
Yeah, they're not good for you. And I found just like so much info on this. I was looking into, can you die from getting a human bite? So it says that it's unlikely that it's fatal, but there have been instances of a fatal human bite.
Left untreated, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yes and no.
Okay.
I'll tell you about the case in a minute. But if you do get a human bite, the most common thing for it that you can treat it is like obviously go see a healthcare professional.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll get antibiotics and like they'll clean it and stuff for you.
Mm-hmm.
And they also say that if you get it, you should immediately clean it yourself as well.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah. Where are my other screenshots? Here they are. So it says that they're obviously more dangerous than animal bites, right? Obviously, because of all the saliva.
Mm-hmm.
And I totally just repeated what I said. It's fine. Oh, but they're like the second deadliest bite of all.
Okay.
Okay, here's what I was saying. I found this, which was crazy. So someone, I don't know where this was at, but someone had an above elbow amputation because of a human bite, obviously like some on their forearm or their hand somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
something of that nature. And then they ended up dying because of the malcare that they got.
Ooh. So they got a bad amputation. And then they died from infection from the amputation or something.
Yes.
Oof. All bad.
All bad. Well, infection spreads throughout your body, so.
Wait, what? Let me write this down.
Not just one area, Mom. Come on.
Oh my gosh, really?
And out of the... Oh, this is a different number. Oh, this is a different one. This is a different year. Okay, so I guess just in 2012, I'm sorry, there were 41,710 bitings. I'm looking at you for like a reaction. You don't seem very impressed. I was really excited to tell you this. I thought it was pretty crazy.
It's super crazy, especially the volume. I mean, I knew that the human bite would be bad for a human or anyone else because your mouth is gross. Like if you don't, especially if you have poor oral hygiene, but even if you have great oral hygiene, you still have a bunch of shit in your mouth. It's gross.
Yeah.
But if you have poor oral hygiene, you can get heart disease and all kinds of shit.
That's why we oil pull.
Well, whatever. We brush our teeth. We fucking floss our teeth. We use Listerine to kill everything.
Ridiculously sensitive about my oral hygiene routine. Takes me like 10 minutes a day to brush 10 minutes like morning and night to brush my teeth.
Yeah. It's a thing.
And that's not including my oil pulling, which I do for like 5 minutes.
That's a thing.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. Pretty cray-cray.
Yeah.
Okay, so men are 52% more likely to get bitten than a woman. And about 74% of the cases that were reported in 2012, this is like the most recent information I could find on it, which is 11 years old, which is sad. But they were at between the ages of 18 and 44. And this is just some stats about this, which is crazy. So those figures, right, roughly represent 114 bites per day.
Jesus.
And one biting assault every 12 minutes.
Wow, that's crazy. That's a lot. That's a lot of biting.
I know. Well, that's why I thought it was super interesting.
It is super interesting. It's a lot of people biting a lot of people. Like I said, I knew about the ickiness of it, but I didn't know about the volume of it.
Yeah.
Like shit.
But only 10% of it leads to infection.
Well, thank goodness.
I know. I just thought it was really insane, and you seem rather unimpressed.
No, I'm so impressed.
I thought you would be gagging over there.
Well, it's gross.
All right, Mom, what you got for me today?
Okay, Daft, don't sound so enthusiastic. Okay, Mom, what do you...
Well, you're not enthusiastic with me, so... Mom, what do you have for me today?
Oh my God, Daphne, that was a great disturbing fact. It was great. And like I said, I wasn't shocked by the ickiness of it. I was shocked by the volume. The volume's insane. That's insane. Fucking, yeah, and that's 11 years ago. So now we're probably up to like a bite every 6 minutes, I'll betcha.
Probably.
Or maybe
the
even
population's
less.
definitely grown.
Yeah, and people are more douchey than they used to be 11 years ago.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You want to know what really bad thought just ran through my mind?
I would love to.
I was going to say, if Ted Bundy wouldn't have killed the woman that he bit, she might have died from an infection from his bite.
Wow, you are so wrong.
I was like, fuck. Either instance, not good.
Either instance, she would have died.
Yeah.
Wow, Daff.
Well, no, I'm saying if he only bit her, she could have died from an infection.
Yes, I understand.
If it went untreated.
Oh, and could you imagine if Richard Ramirez bit somebody? Because he had the nastiest fucking teeth
in the world.
Yeah.
Him and this other guy, too, the Confession Killer or something like that. I don't know. I saw it on Netflix. I didn't watch it, though, because I can't look at this guy is the problem.
Right.
But, oh my gosh.
I hate that when you have to, like, cover the TV with your hand, like, from a distance to block certain
I'm just
parts out.
Big on oral hygiene. And if you can't take care of your mouth, I don't care if you've stains and shit on your teeth. Everyone does. But, like, if you're not brushing your teeth, please do that.
Right. If your plaque is 4 inches thick.
Yeah, that's when I have a problem.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's nasty.
It's gross. Gross,
All right.
gross. Okay, what I have for you today is the case, the story, the craziness.
This episode contains violent descriptions of murder.
Trigger warning for also child abuse, but I'm not going to go like, or not child abuse, but a child murder, okay? I'm just going to say it.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Going to say it. This is the case of Nannie. Yeah, Nannie. I said it right. Oh, my God. In my head, I keep saying Nannie when I'm reading it. I was so afraid I was going to say Nannie. So all afternoon, I'd be like, Nannie. And then I said Nannie.
Why would that throw you off? Nanny, like, a kid has a nanny?
Yeah, or like her name is Nancy, so they call her Nannie.
Oh, because Nancy, Nanny, no, that makes sense.
Yeah. So in my head, I kept saying, anyway, here we are. And I said it right. Yay, go me.
Well, see, I would think Nani.
No. It's Nannie. It's Nanny.
Okay.
Anyway.
Or Nangi from Zootopia.
So Nannie Hazel was born on November 4th of 1905 in Blue Mountain, Alabama. She was born to Louisa, they called her Lou, Holder Hazel, and James Jim F. Hazel. She was one of 5 children. She had 1 brother and 3 sisters. And Jim forced his children to work on the family farm and didn't allow them to attend school for long periods of time so that they could work on the farm and do the household chores and like basically be uneducated slaves. Yes.
Being slaves to their parents.
Yeah. Lou was known to be a loving mother, but, in that time period, in most cases, the man would be in charge of household decisions.
Right.
So Jim was calling the shots and the kids had to stay home and work on the farm and work in the house.
Of course.
Right?
Gender roles.
Yes. 1920s. 19 teens.
Yeah.
Lou and Nannie both hated James. He was an abusive and controlling husband and father. So he's a grade A douche.
Sounds like it.
Yes. At the age of 7, the family when Nannie was 7, let me just clarify.
Okay.
The family went on a train trip to visit relatives in southern Alabama, and the train suddenly stopped, and Nannie hit her head on a metal bar on the seat in front of her, and she hit her head hard enough to cause severe headaches, blackouts, and depression for years afterwards.
So she definitely got a concussion.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Traumatic brain injury itself. Well, not traumatic, but a concussion.
A brain injury?
Yes. She got hurt in her brain.
In her brain. Her brain got hurt.
Her brain got hurt.
That's really sad, though.
It's sad. She was 7.
Yeah. That sounds like that would suck to black out. Well, I guess maybe it was a blessing for her to black out her childhood because her dad sucked.
Right. But her mom was awesome, sounds like. As a child, Nannie loved reading her mom's romance magazines, and her favorite part of the magazines were always the Lonely Hearts column. And this...
I know exactly what that is.
Yes. This led a young Nannie to dream about her own future love life. So she romanticized, about love and romance because, romance novels.
So
heaving bosoms.
Did she ever reach out to any of these guys?
Heaving bosoms and whatnot.
Her heaving bosoms.
Yes. We'll get there, Daff.
Okay, sorry. I didn't know if she did it as a toddler. Yes,
she was reading romance magazines as a toddler.
I mean, as a child.
Yeah, well, growing up, like, she read the magazines, right?
Okay.
So I don't know exactly how old when she started, maybe a toddler, and had to be self-educated because she wasn't allowed to go to school.
Right, I was going to say, how did she learn to read? The romance novels?
The romance magazines, yeah.
No, I was asking because I was like, that'd be kind of weird if a 7-year-old sent someone, like a 42-year-old, a note.
Right, it's like now times, catfishing.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Yeah. James forbade his daughters from wearing makeup and clothing that he considered to be, quote unquote, too nice or too revealing. So he made them dress like super frumpy, didn't let them wear makeup. And he thought that this would prevent his girls from being molested. Unfortunately, according to some reports, the girls were still molested on several occasions because, you know, shit happens regardless of how you look, right?
Yeah.
And he also...
Absolutely. That's one of, like, the worst misconceptions.
Right? No kidding. Yeah. Nobody's asking for it because they're wearing lipstick.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
and
so
nobody's
stupid.
not asking for it because they're not wearing lipstick.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's ridiculous.
So ridiculous. Again, 19 teens.
19 teens.
Yeah. He also never allowed them to go to dances or any other kind of like social events.
Were they in school at this point?
Well, they were allowed to go to school off and on, remember?
Yeah, but I don't know if, like, now that they're older and can do more work, that he's keeping them home full time.
I don't know. It just said that for long periods of time, he wouldn't allow them to go to school. So probably there were times when they went to school and then they could like be like, oh, Dad, can we go to the dance? And he'd be like, no.
He'd be like, piss off.
Right. He'd be like, no. And you can't wear lipstick.
No lipstick for you.
Right. No lipstick for you.
No lipstick, especially that red one. How promiscuous.
Right. You'll be asking for it.
Oh, God. The worst.
Yeah. In 1921, Nannie went to work at the Linen Thread Company in the nearby town of Anniston. This is where she met Charles, he goes by Charlie, Braggs. Charlie began wooing Nannie, and with the approval of her father, Jim, Nannie and Charlie were married after just 4 months of dating. Nannie was just 16 years old.
Married? That's crazy.
In 1921.
Well, I mean, I guess that was the times, right? I mean, it still happens today.
Right.
But I just think it's crazy.
It's so crazy. Could you imagine?
I'm going to be 25. I can't imagine anyone who I would ever want to marry.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Back then, people wanted to get married and get out of the house.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Right. After their marriage, they moved into the house that Charlie lived in with his mother. Charlie's mother was single, and she took up a lot of his time and attention, and she limited Nannie's activities. Nannie was quoted as saying, I married as my father wished in 1921 to the only boy I knowed about 4 or 5 months who had no family, only a mother who was unwed and who had taken over my life completely when we were married. She never seen anything wrong with what she done, but she would take spells. She would not let my own mother stay all night.
Jeez.
That was a direct quote.
Okay, so the guy doesn't have family, just his mom.
Yeah.
And she's a control freak.
And she's an unwed mother, and they live together.
So, yeah, she's living in sin.
Living in sin?
An unwed mother.
Well, she didn't, maybe she just got knocked up. Doesn't mean she was living in sin.
Okay, she was sinful.
Yes.
For the times.
Just got knocked up.
Thank God that's not a societal norm anymore.
Right? Now most people, well, not most people, but if you have a baby out of wedlock, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Or if you have a baby and don't want anything to do with the dad, not a big deal.
Yeah, no one really gives a fuck.
Nobody gives a fuck.
Like you do, you boo-boo.
Exactly. So between 1923 and 1927, Charlie and Nannie had 4 daughters. Nannie was stressed out because, she's young. Like by 1927, she's what, like 22?
Yeah, she's 22.
And she has 4 kids.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, that's a lot. So she was stressed out and she started drinking, and her casual smoking habit became a heavy addiction. And both, you're not going to believe this, Charlie and Nannie were unhappy in their marriage.
Shocker.
I know, right? And they accused each other of cheating. And Charlie would disappear for days at a time, leaving Nannie with 4 young daughters and his overbearing mother.
Well, he probably was cheating.
Probably.
That's probably why.
Probably. Or he just want to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Which you made the choice to get married and have 4 children. Right, I was going to say,
after 4 months of knowing each other.
Right.
After 4 months, they're like, hey, let's go get hitched at 16 years old.
Right. Let's do this thing. Chicken wing.
Basically. Damn, that means their kids are really close together in age, too. Oh, man.
That's One after another, after another, after another.
That's gotta be hard.
Yeah. Super hard. In 1927, their two middle daughters died of what they suspected was food poisoning after eating breakfast. The girls didn't die at the same time, but it was within a real short period of time. And soon after this happened, Charlie took their oldest daughter, Melvina, and left. And Nannie was left with the newborn baby, Florine, and Charlie's mother, who died shortly after Charlie left.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's brutal. At this point, when Nannie still had Florine. That's a cute name.
It's a cute name.
Was she still living with Charlie's mom?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
Yeah, she was living in the house with the baby and...
But then the oldest kid went with Charlie. Got it.
Yeah.
I didn't know if, like, he was like, fuck this entire situation, or he and his mom left.
No, he took the oldest daughter and left the two of them with the baby.
Okay.
Right? So in 1928... maybe, or the end of 1927, sorry. Nannie took a job in a cotton mill to support herself and Florine, and Charlie brought Melvina back in the summer of 1928, and he brought along with him a young divorcee who had a child of her own.
Nice.
Right? So this is shocking. Soon after that, they were divorced.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be with him either.
Right. And after this, Nannie went to her mother's house to live with her two daughters. So her mom and dad, she went home.
Okay, well, that's good. She got the kids.
Yeah, she got the kids. In 1929, Nannie married her second husband, Robert Franklin, goes by Frank Harrelson. They met through a Lonely Hearts newspaper column.
Oh, gosh. I feel like that's a very short amount of time to be divorced and then already moving on into another marriage.
Yeah.
Given the fact that the first one, you got divorced and you only knew each other for 4 months before that happened.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not knocking people who, immediately get into relationships after the divorce. Like, anything, like, whatever people need to do to, make themselves feel better, then that's the right course of action for them. Like, that's totally individual decision,
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to get married so shortly after, like, she just went through this.
Right.
Literally.
But remember, she has like a romanticized version of love in her head, right? Because of reading romance novels.
Yeah,
she didn't get it the first time, so maybe she's going to get it the second time, right? And especially because she met this guy in the Lonely Hearts column in the newspaper.
Okay.
Right? So he courted her with poetry, and she wrote him passionate letters, and she sent him a cake and a picture of herself. And then Nannie went to Jacksonville with Melvina and Florine, where Robert lived. And, they got married. They lived together. It was all happy.
Okay.
So after just a few short months of marriage, Nannie realized that Robert was an alcoholic with a violent temper who also had a criminal record for assault.
Shocker.
Right?
Not shocker that he's that way, but shocker that she's having a hard time in love because, let's be honest, dating is hard. It's really hard to find the right one.
It is. It is.
It's really hard to find, like, your perfect person.
It's hard to find your perfect person.
Everything you want them to be.
And you really want to get to know somebody before you marry them. And you probably definitely want to live with them, although this is the 1920s, so probably not
that easy to,
yeah,
like, take trips to getting to know each other and all that before you decide to live together.
Yeah, exactly.
She's like, okay, I'm coming, moving in.
Right, and we're getting married. And that's that.
So the Lonely Hearts column went all the way from Florida to Alabama.
What?
They're in Alabama.
Yeah.
So it went to Florida?
I think it's Jacksonville, Alabama still.
Oh.
Because it never said anything about Florida. And
I was
sure there's a
assuming
Jacksonville, Alabama.
I was just picturing Florida, obviously. Jacksonville, Florida.
Right.
Okay, never mind then. I was like, really? Dating apps now, you can set your range to be, like, super wide,
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, if you're moving to a new city, you can put yourself in that area so you can start to get to know people before you get there or whatever.
Right.
But I feel like that would be rough to do in the 20s. Be like, okay, we need this Lonely Hearts column from fucking California all the way to Mississippi.
Yeah. Well, you never know. I mean, it could have been in Florida, but I think it was pretty close to home.
Okay.
So, but I could be wrong. And I mean, they did have national newspapers in the 20s.
Right. Well,
I
know, but, like, for a Lonely Hearts column, you think that'd be, like, pretty local.
Right. Like, you'd want it to be somebody that you could actually meet up with.
Right. Somebody who you could actually get to know.
Right.
But clearly not.
Right. I mean, you know.
Clearly that's not the case for everyone.
Right. It's whatever. So in spite of all the bullshit drama with the alcoholism and the temper and the criminal record for assault, their marriage lasted for 16 years.
Oh, geez.
Right. Her daughter.
Despite the fact that you suck and you're a piece of shit, we can stay married.
Yeah. Well, but, you know, needless to say, she wasn't happy.
Yeah.
You know, so her daughter Melvina married and moved out. And in 1943, Melvina gave birth to a son, Robert Lee Hayes. About 2 years later, she and her husband had another child, a daughter. And Melvina was so tired from childbirth and groggy from the ether used during labor. I know you're looking at me, but ether was common during childbirth dating back to the 1800s.
What's ether?
It's like it's a chemical that like knocks you out.
So it's like chloroform?
Exactly. So it was known as the twilight sleep birth, and ether or chloroform were the most common chemicals that were used.
So sometimes I could go for some chloroform, but like do it to myself so I'd sleep at night. Like,
yeah, it doesn't knock you out for that long, though. You'd have to keep the rag right there. And then you might die because that happens when never mind. We're going off rails.
That happens?
Well, if people over chloroform people, they die. Because remember, never mind.
No, I want to know.
Well, there's been a couple of cases where they think that the person didn't actually try to kill the person, but like they chloroformed them and they kept like re-chloroforming them and they died.
Bad.
Because it also, you know, suppresses your respiratory function.
Yeah.
So does the ether. Like it's not a, you know, they don't use it anymore. Let's just say that. Like you go to the hospital, they don't go knock you out with some fucking chloroform to do surgery.
That's funny. So she was a tired, exhausted mom.
Right. And she was groggy from the ether and, you know. So in her groggy state, Melvina thought that she saw her mother stick a hat pin in the newborn baby's head. Yeah.
Oh, God.
This account was confirmed by family members who were at the hospital shortly after the baby was born. And later, when Melvina had a conversation with her husband and Florine, her sister, they told her that Nannie had told them that the baby was dead when she went to check on her. But they too had noticed that Nannie had a hat pin in her hand. And, you know, hat pin. So hat pins are typically around 6 to 8 inches long.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, fuck is right. And so they're definitely long enough to pierce the brain. And then, you know, newborn babies have like that soft spot in their skull that allows for compression during childbirth. So, yeah, I mean.
Oh, God. That just like made me sick to my stomach.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Where were the nurses at?
I don't know. That information is not given. But apparently, like, the whole family's in the room and she's like waking up. She's like groggy. The baby's right there. And, you know, and her mom is miserable and apparently looking to take out her.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's terrible.
That's really sad. Wow, way to bring me down.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I think that's the worst one.
That's like a very pure soul.
Yeah, exactly. A fucking newborn baby. I mean, geez, terrible. So after this tragedy, both parents, Melvina and her husband, drifted apart because, you know, they were struggling with grief. And instead of it bringing them closer together, it pulled them apart, and eventually they separated. And Melvina started dating a soldier who Nannie disliked. One day, Melvina and Nannie had a terrible fight, and Melvina left to stay at her father's house for a while. So to go stay with James, I guess James and the mom. So she went back home to stay. I mean, no, with Charlie. Yeah, sorry, with Charlie and the stepmom. And she left Nannie in Robert's care. I mean, Robert in Nannie's care.
I was picking up what you were putting down. She left her son with her mom.
The baby, the 2-year-old with her mom.
Oh, God, and that's going to be bad.
On July 7th, 1945, Robert died from sudden and unexplained asphyxiation.
So I'm going to guess she probably killed her 2 middle daughters.
I'm going to guess that as well.
They probably wasn't, you know, you said they assumed it's food poisoning, but I'm going to guess probably wasn't.
Right.
So asphyxiation, that means she strangled him.
Or smothered him.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
It's terrible. I couldn't even imagine. I mean, there are definitely people that I want to strangle, but none of them
on a regular basis.
None of them are children and babies and stuff.
I know. Shout out, Lindsay, if you're listening to this. You made me die that day. You texted me and said that you wish you could run around with baseball bats or pool noodles and hit people in the back of the head and say, here's some common sense.
Yeah.
That made me laugh so hard when she texted me that. I'm like, yeah, but let's up for pool noodles.
Right. No kidding. No kidding.
Knock some
Baseball
sense
bats
into-
could potentially land you in jail.
Yeah, potentially. So could pool noodles, too.
Yeah, that's true. Assault's assault.
Yeah.
Yeah. So within months of his death, Nannie cashed in on Robert's $500 life insurance policy, which she had taken out on him shortly after Melvina and her husband split.
Oh, okay. So murder for profit.
Yep. There you go.
Fuck.
Mm-hmm. In 1945 came the end of World War II, and the United States, of course, was celebrating that the war was over and everybody was partying and living it up. And Frank was no exception to this because, anyway, he's an alcoholic already, right?
Right.
And he was out drinking and partying and drinking himself into a stupor. And he came home completely drunk one night and he raped Nannie, which, you know, she didn't dig.
Yeah, obviously.
Right. So the following day, while she was tending to her roses in the garden, she found a jar of corn whiskey that he had buried and she spiked it with rat poisoning.
Oh.
Yeah.
She's fucking scandalous.
She is scandalous. On September 15th, 1945, Frank Harrelson died an excruciating death.
I'm sure that can't feel good. You're inside just fucking tearing each other apart, killing yourself, basically.
Yeah, terrible.
Like, that's what that shit does. It literally makes you kill yourself. Like, your body turns against you and eats away at itself.
Yeah, well, it prevents your clotting factors. So you bleed to death internally.
Yeah.
So, but it causes like severe pain. I mean, I think the stuff they have now doesn't because, you know, they say like it's humane to kill mice that way. But anyway, I'm not going to go there because you hate rodents and I hate killing things. So, except flies.
Except flies, we already know.
Right?
Should we go back to maggot therapy?
No, let's don't do it.
I might need it for this scratch on my hand.
Nannie met her third husband, Arlie Lanning, through an ad in the local Lonely Hearts column.
Shocker. So she divorced...
No, he died. She killed him.
Oh.
She didn't divorce him. I mean, I guess she did. With poison.
I was just thinking about the painful part. I forgot that he died. I was thinking about the massive amount of pain he was in.
She divorced him with arsenic.
I'm sorry. My brain just totally had a fart.
That's okay.
Okay, so she met the next one in the Lonely Hearts Club as well.
Right. And the pair
The Lonely
married...
Hearts column. Sorry, not the club.
Whatever. The pair married 3 days after meeting.
Oh, God. She's getting shorter and shorter and shorter every time.
So, yeah, she really took time to get to know him. Or not. Whatever.
Right? Fuck. She's like...
Okay, you'll do.
The last one didn't work after 16 years, and I only knew him for 5 days. So we'll see if 3 days is better.
Right. If this is a better fit for me.
Oh, my gosh.
So go figure that Lanning was an alcoholic womanizer because she apparently has a type. Yeah.
I was going to say, or she attracts these kinds of people because she's fucked up in the head.
Maybe. Yeah. So Nannie started taking off for long periods of time. So she was the one that was like, okay, I'm out. I'm not doing this all the time. And when she came back, she played the role of the loving wife.
Of course.
Right.
She has this romantic vision of marriage and such.
And yeah, exactly. Romance and a love life and all heaving bosoms and stuff.
Why do you keep saying that?
Because I think of romance novels and I always think of like, there's a line that's always like, and her heaving bosoms.
I wouldn't know. I've never once touched a romance novel.
Oh, well, when I was in high school, like...
Did you read Lentis Fabio on them? Never mind.
Yes, I think I did. I don't know. I read the ones... I can't even remember the author's name, but she had like all these romance novels. And I read them when I was in high school because they were kind of quick reads and kind of like mentally distracting from like schoolwork and shit because they were mindless. But they were always heaving bosoms.
Or always heaving bosoms.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Yeah, I'm like, why do you keep saying that?
I'm going to find, I don't have one, but I'm going to find one online. I'm going to show you. So in 1950,
just don't Google heaving bosoms.
I won't. I got to think of that author's name. I cannot remember that author's name. It's going to make me crazy. But like she was huge. She wrote romance novels left, right, and center.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, good for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she probably made some money off of it.
Oh, I'm sure she did. Because she cranked them out.
16-year-old reading about heaving bosoms.
Oh, and I think I'm not the only one. I mean, obviously Nannie's into it. So,
but she liked the magazines.
Well, she may have liked the books too.
Well, you didn't find anything out about the books?
No, I didn't.
If they found a stack of Fabio before Fabio was Fabio.
No. Maybe she just liked a quick read of the magazine. I don't know. Because of her education level, unfortunately for her.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. In 1950, Arlie died from what was believed to be heart failure because of his heavy drinking. And there had been a serious flu virus going around the area at that time. So poison, all of his heavy drinking, the flu, all took him out at the same time. It was all the perfect concoction for Nannie. Right. The townspeople were sympathetic towards Nannie and showed her great support as she presented herself as the perfect spouse, and no autopsy was performed.
Shocker. So please tell me, does she marry the next one after one day?
I can't remember. We'll get there.
Okay.
I mean, they're all pretty quick, right?
Yeah, well, that's I was hoping because she keeps shortening her time.
Right.
I was like, can you do this after 3 minutes next time?
Right.
Be like, hey, I know we just met, but here's our marriage certificate.
Right. Could you please sign it? I'll be moving in with my 2 daughters. Yeah. Or just 1 daughter, I guess, still.
Because she still has Florina.
Probably. Florine, sorry.
Yes. Melvina.
Melvina, Florine. Yes. And I couldn't find the names. So
combined, they're Florina.
That is true. Or Florvina.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find the 2 middle daughters who died. I couldn't find their names. I tried, but I couldn't find them anywhere. And like, again, how these cases are, there's like shitloads of misinformation out there. So trying to make sure that you have the right information. And when you're Googling what were her middle daughters' names, nothing comes up.
Yeah.
So,
of course, the 2 she killed.
Right.
Her own 2 offsprings. And then her 2 grandchildren.
Yeah. Right.
And then
many others.
Her husband.
And her husband.
And her husband. Both of her husbands.
Yeah, there's 2 at this point. So the house the couple...
2/3.
The house the couple lived in was inherited by Lanning's sister. And after Nannie moved out of the house, unexplainably, it burned to the ground. And Nannie collected the insurance money.
Shocker.
I know, right?
So murder for profit is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Here.
Well, yeah.
Murder
and she maybe thought she was going to get the house or something. And he had willed it to his sister because they had only known each other for like 10 days or whatever.
They knew each other for 3 whole weeks before he died.
Right.
And only got married after 2 minutes.
Right.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy.
It's
God,
so
could
crazy.
you imagine? Fuck that.
No, I couldn't.
I need everyone to know about all of my habits before, and I need to know about your habits.
Right. I was like, it's a mutual habit knowing situation.
Yeah. The good ones, the bad ones, the ugly ones, the nasty ones, the
all
positive ones. I need to know about all of it before.
Right. And no surprises that you're an alcoholic womanizer with a violent temperature. With a
violent temperature. You hot as fuck. She must have been cute. Like she
must have
getting
been
some.
Right. Or yeah, I don't know.
I mean, not like physically cute, but like not cute in other ways, obviously, because she's fucking out here slaying people left, right, and center.
Right.
she's like, do, have some cyanide.
Right.
She's the perfect little housewife with like her fucking I Love Lucy pinup curls and her apron. She's like, and a drop of cyanide and a drop of rat poison. Oh, honey, I'm just mixing the pancake batter.
Right. It'll be ready in just 1 minute. Don't you fret none.
Yep. Oh, my gosh.
After the house burned down, Nannie moved in with Arlie's mother. So Arlie Lanning. Sorry, I keep going back and forth between his first and last name.
Yeah, you do.
I'm sorry, my bad. Anyway, so Arlie, the husband that she just killed and then burnt the house down.
Yeah.
So after the house burned down, Nannie moved in with Arlie's mother, caring for the woman, his mother, while she recovered from a broken hip.
Okay.
And unfortunately,
she died.
She died in her sleep.
Insurance.
She died in her sleep. I don't think she had life insurance on her.
Okay.
But she died in her sleep. So I guess this was more just like for sport.
She's like, let me get some more practice under my belt.
Right.
I haven't already had enough practice in murder. Fuck.
I need a little more. Later that year, Nannie went to live with her sister, Dovey Frances Hazel, who was bedridden. And shortly after Nannie moved in, Dovey too would die.
So she killed her own fucking sister too?
She killed her own sister.
Well,
if you can kill your own children and your own
kids.
grandkids, like, yeah. It's terrible. Nannie, always the romantic, looking for love, met her 4th husband, Richard Morton of Jamestown, North Carolina, through a dating service called the Diamond Circle Club. Super fancy.
That is super bougie.
Right, I like it.
I wonder how much she paid a month for a subscription.
I don't know.
Not that I'm interested, but...
You don't want to be in the Diamond Circle Club?
No. I'm okay. Sounds too bougie for me.
Right.
With my low fashion outfit on today. You're to high fashion? Yeah, couldn't be me.
The pair married in 1952, and she went to live in Emporia, Kansas. Or they went to live in Emporia, Kansas, because he was from North Carolina, and I don't know, they relocated to Kansas for some reason. I couldn't find that.
Okay, gotcha. So this time she actually did leave Alabama because she went to North Carolina and then to Kansas.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And Richard was not an alcoholic, but he was a womanizer. And not long after their marriage, Richard started spending the night with other women in town.
Of course he did.
Right? And you can only imagine Emporia, Kansas, probably a small town.
Yeah, I've never even heard of it.
People would be like, huh, isn't that guy married?
Right? Didn't he just move here with his wife?
Right.
Maybe not that small of a town, but...
but a semi-small town.
Right.
In January of 1953, Lou, Nannie's mother, moved in with them after her husband Jim died. And a few days later, she started suffering from severe stomach pains, and she died.
Shocker.
Her own mom.
So she hasn't killed her husband?
Oh, not yet. I mean, only 3 days later.
Oh my God.
Richard
Did she
died.
have life insurance on her mom?
I don't, again,
What
no
happened to her
life
dad?
He died. I don't know.
Okay, so she just offed her mom?
Yeah.
Jeez, this woman.
Right, and she liked her mom because she said her mom was loving and, you know, shared the love of the romance
She's like,
magazines.
anyone that comes close to me will die.
Right.
Right, you'd think that this woman, the people would be like, oh, so all but one of your husbands died. 2 of your children, 2 of your grandchildren, your sister, your ex-mother-in-law, your own mother. Is that like not a walking red flag?
Really not.
That everyone around you dies?
Right. It's just a coincidence.
Did I miss anyone in this list?
Yeah, but we'll get there.
Oh, so I didn't miss what's already happened.
No.
As far as the case goes
I mean, yes, but no. Okay, so only 3 days after Lou died, Richard would also die from drinking a thermos of coffee that Nannie had so kindly added arsenic to.
Oh my God.
Right?
I should not be laughing, but like I said, she's a walking red flag.
Yeah, she is.
At this point, it's like fucking plastered on her forehead. I kill people.
Well, but if you're advertising yourself in a Lonely Hearts column and joining the Diamond Circle Club, I feel like you're not going to say that everyone around you dies. I feel like that's not going to be your luring attraction.
Yeah, but it doesn't like come up in conversation. So do you have any kids?
Well, how do you have...
Yeah, I have 2 daughters. Unfortunately, I lost 2 daughters. We assume it was from food poisoning. Okay, how many times have you been married? 3 times. 2 of them passed away. I'm a widow twice over.
Yeah. Well, if you only have 3 days to get to know someone, maybe it doesn't come up in conversation.
I mean, even after they're married.
Maybe it doesn't come up in conversation.
How does it not come up in conversation?
I don't know.
Your love history?
Or maybe you just hold back that information.
I've had 3 husbands.
Yes. And I'm widowed.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not necessarily saying how many times, but I'm widowed. All right. So within...
widowed twice over.
Within months of Richard's death, Nannie boarded a bus to Tulsa, Oklahoma to meet her new love interest, Samuel Doss. Samuel was a Nazarene minister who had lost his family in a tornado in Arkansas. And I know you're going to be so surprised when I tell you that it did not take them long to get married.
Shocker.
I know. It's very shocking. Being a minister, he was neither an alcoholic or a womanizer. However, he did not allow non-educational, non-enlightening TV shows or magazines with no substance in the house. He didn't like romance novels or romance stories in magazines, all the things that Nannie loved so much, right?
Right. But she's found her perfect man who's not an alcoholic or a womanizer, so she probably should just go with the flow.
Well, but she wants her romance novels. So
she doesn't need her romance novels now. She's got it IRL.
Well, maybe she doesn't. Maybe he's eating graham crackers.
Oh, gosh. He's like, I'm abstaining from having any sort of intimate relationship with you, even though we're finally married.
But thank you. What do you mean finally?
Finally, after a day.
Right. Finally, after those 2 weeks of getting to know you. So as you can imagine, this was a problem for her. She wanted her magazines. She wanted her probably trash TV. I don't know, 1950s.
Is there trash TV in the 1950s?
I don't know. I think like soap operas and stuff might have started around that time.
Wasn't that like the era of I Love Lucy and the Dick Van Dyke Show and the...
Yeah, but there has to be like counterparts to that. Because there was like the Twilight Zone and the Alfred Hitchcock Show and stuff like that. So there has to not only be comedy.
No, I know, but...
Loopy comedy.
Betty Boop.
Okay.
That was out.
Yeah. But I'm just saying.
Maybe that was the trash TV he's referring to because she dressed rather promiscuous, Miss Betty.
She's very provocative with her red lipstick and all.
Yes.
Yes.
Very terribly provocative.
Right. So I just have to say, maybe take a little time to get to know the people you marry. Just a thought.
That's what I was thinking.
Get to know that they're womanizers, alcoholics. They don't like the magazines that you like. They're not going to allow them in the house.
So I shouldn't ask the guy I've been seeing if he wants to get married next week?
Yeah, that you went on one lunch date with?
Yeah.
Probably not. In protest, Nannie left Samuel for a short time until he agreed to put her on his bank account, and the couple also took out 2 life insurance policies with Nannie as the beneficiary.
Of course.
Right? Like, fuck, you just signed your own death warrant, dude.
Yeah. That was a poor mistake.
In September, Samuel was hospitalized after eating prune cake that had been laced with arsenic. He showed flu-like symptoms and was diagnosed with a severe digestive tract infection. And after being treated successfully and released from the hospital, Samuel went home on October 5th. And on October 12th of 1954, after being served coffee with arsenic, Samuel died, which had proven to work in the past. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
Like, why'd you try prune cake?
Yeah, why'd you try something different? Why did you switch it up?
Right.
And also, why, if you have a guy that you finally, maybe she actually didn't enjoy him if she killed him, but she didn't even give her, little grandbaby a chance to get to know her.
No.
To see if she would enjoy her.
Nope. Well, she's messed up, obviously. This time, this would be her undoing because the doctor who had treated Samuel heard of his death and he ordered an autopsy. And the coroner found large amounts of arsenic in his system. And in one place, I read that he had enough arsenic in his system to kill 20 people. So she was like, I'm going to make fucking sure this time.
Oh, God.
Because not only now did you not die from the prune cake, but now we have hospital bills. So,
right? Now I'm going to have to use some of this fucking life insurance money
to pay your hospital bills.
Right?
Right.
God damn it.
Fucker, you've ruined my plans.
Where do you even, buy arsenic?
I don't know. I guess rat poisoning.
Is that the same as arsenic?
I think arsenic, cyanide, I think that stuff's in rat poisoning.
Well, I know cyanide isn't it occurs naturally though. It's in some kind of root from this TikTok I watched earlier.
Well, and it's in like arsenic's in cherry pits and apple seeds and stuff like that. Naturally.
Really?
Yeah, naturally. So, yeah.
Fuck.
But
okay,
anyway.
So you could have just stuck some apple seeds.
But it's not like now where if you're buying a shitload of arsenic, it's going to put up red flags. Back then, she was gardening. She was trying to keep rats out of her garden from eating her roses and fruits and vegetables or whatever she was gardening.
Right, she had a cover story for why she was using it, which she probably did use it in the garden too. Because
well, that was her triggering idea. She's like, oh, I found your fucking moonshine. Oh, and I just so happen to have some arsenic here. Fuck you, motherfucker. You raped me. Now you must die.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. She also is not a very kind and gentle human, so she wants to murder all the animals that come in her yard too.
Right, exactly.
That was my point.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you were, never mind.
No, that was just my point is that, she definitely she didn't just buy it for the sole purpose of killing. Yes, she did, but not humans.
Not necessarily humans to begin with.
Yes.
Nannie was promptly taken into custody and arresting officers found her behavior odd. Instead of the denials of a murderer that you would usually get, she flirted and she giggled with them, and that's maybe the same way that she wooed 5 husbands into marrying her. I don't know. Right.
Sounds like it.
So detectives had difficulty getting a confession out of the grandmotherly woman because she was too enthralled with a romantic hearts magazine. When the police finally did get Nannie's attention by taking the magazine away from her, she giggled and flirted with them like a young girl. And finally, after hours in the interrogation room, Nancy, Nannie, Hazel, Braggs, Harrelson, Lanning, Morton, Doss confessed.
You did that on purpose?
Yeah, a little bit. Confessed to poisoning her last husband. And when the police asked her why, she said, well, it's simple. He wouldn't let me watch my favorite television show or turn on a fan during the hot summer nights. So, after extracting a promise from the police...
almost reasonable. You could just get a divorce.
Right? Or Yeah. After extracting a promise from the police that she would talk about her other husbands if they would just give her magazine back. So then she confessed to killing all 3 of them as well.
Oh, but not the children?
No.
Or her sister or her mother or her ex-mother-in-law?
Right. Nope. Oh so
my
after
gosh.
her confession...
Wait. Okay, I have a question. So after he died, they obviously, because you said that there was enough arsenic to kill 20 people in his coffee. Mm-hmm. So they did an autopsy, though.
They didn't. Because remember how I said he had just been in the hospital and he was treated with a digestive tract infection?
No, I know, but obviously
and that doctor that had just treated him and released him found out that he died right afterwards. And he's like, okay, something's fishy here. So
the doctor ordered it.
Yeah, I said that the doctor ordered the autopsy.
Okay.
The doctor who had treated him in the hospital is the one that ordered the autopsy.
My brain went over that because you said there was enough arsenic to kill 20 people.
Right. So
that's where my brain went to.
So you tuned that part out.
I was sorry. Okay. Just wanted to confirm that.
Yeah.
So
the doctor that had treated him in the hospital.
That's correct.
Heard that he died. And then he was like, okay, this is weird. Like, let's do an autopsy. And when they did the autopsy, they found shitloads of arsenic in his system. So then the police came and they arrested her. And they're like, it's kind of weird that you have 3 other husbands that have also died.
Kind of weird that you're 4 times over now a widow.
Right, exactly. After her confessions, she became a national sensation.
God, Charlie must have been like, I dodged a fucking bullet.
Yes, he did. He did indeed. That was the only one of her husbands that she didn't kill, right?
Yep, the first one.
Yeah. So she always seemed to be laughing or giggling, even when she was facing a life sentence. She was called the Giggling Granny, or the Lonely Hearts Killer, or the Jolly Black Widow, or Lady Beard, which I don't understand why Lady Bluebeard, and I tried to look it up, but there's nothing. I'm like, okay. I don't get it.
Did she have a gray beard?
No, she didn't have a beard. She used to tinkle.
She used to tinkle. Good for her.
Right. While awaiting trial, the bodies of 8 of her victims were exhumed. In 3 of the husbands, arsenic was found, and arsenic was also found in her mother's remains. The rest of the victims showed signs of being smothered. After being declared sane by 4 psychiatrists, Nannie pled guilty on May 17th, 1955. Nannie never admitted to killing any of her biological family. She was sentenced to life in prison, and the state didn't pursue the death penalty because she was a woman. So,
okay.
Yeah, I guess that's good because she got life. She died on June 2nd, 1965 of leukemia at the age of 59. So she was only in prison for 10 years, but she was only 40. She's 49 when she went in, I guess.
Okay.
In total, it is believed that she killed 11 people. So her 2 children, her 2 grandchildren, 4 of her husbands, 1 mother-in-law, her own sister, her own mother, and some people speculate that she was responsible for Charlie's mother's death as well. Because remember, shortly after Charlie left, she died.
Okay, that's totally fair.
Yeah, so
it's not she already had 2 under her belt at that point.
Right, so it's not certain that she killed her, but it seems like probable that she would do it. It wouldn't be like a super far-fetched idea.
Yeah, I forgot that she died.
For that. After her arrest and conviction, her first husband, Charlie, said that he left because he was afraid of her. So, and I guess secretly someone had told him not to eat her food, but I don't know where that would have come from.
Right.
So, but that was just in one thing I read, and I was like, man, I think it's bullshit. But I just said it. But I still think it's bullshit. Gotcha. I think he was just scared of her because,
she's an intimidating woman.
Apparently, or maybe he suspected that she killed the kids. But if you suspected that she killed the kids, why would you leave a baby with her? And then when you come back, why would you leave the 2 girls?
And why would you not turn her in?
Right. Well, maybe he didn't have any proof. So I don't know. That's all speculative.
Yeah, but there were still autopsies at that point.
It's just speculation on my part. So Nannie herself, she blamed what she called her mental illness in quotes because, she had been declared sane by psychiatrists. But she said that she was mentally ill because of the trauma caused by her head injury on the train when she was 7.
Well, that sounds believable, unfortunately.
Right. But they said that she was sane.
So what? You can be sane and still kill people and have a TBI.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
It doesn't make you insane. It just makes the screw go loose.
So It literally got shaken loose or knocked loose, I guess.
Right.
Nannie's motive for her crimes still remains the subject of speculation. Some experts believe that she simply killed out of greed and financial gain, while others suggest that she was motivated by a twisted desire for attention or a warped notion of love. Because not all of them did she get money.
Yeah, she didn't get money from like half of them.
Right. But after she realized that, oh, hey,
I can collect money.
Right. From her grandkid. That was the first one.
Yeah, little Robert. That's so sad.
That's terrible. So terrible.
What a piece of work.
Yeah. And there's a picture of Malvina and 2 of her kids with Nannie, like during trial in court.
Oh my gosh.
But she denied it. Remember, she never admitted to killing any of her own.
So Malvina had more kids.
Yeah.
That's
good.
Good, I guess. Yeah.
But she never admitted to killing them. So Malvina probably believed her. She's probably like, I wouldn't kill your grandchildren. It's just a coinky dink.
Right. I would never kill my grandkids.
Right.
I would never kill my babies.
Right. Or my own babies. Just a coincidence.
It's just weird that they died.
Right. Coincidentally.
So that's it. It's weird that they died after I filed life insurance. I don't know what happened.
Strange. So strange. Anyway, so that's it.
I like it. Well, okay.
I know we always say that, right? We're like, oh, I like it. Well, just kidding. I don't like it, but I like the way you did it.
Yeah. It was a good case.
Yeah, it was a good case.
That's even so bad to say. It was an interesting case. It was fascinating.
It's fascinating.
Murder for profits, hey? Killing for fun, eh?
Yeah. Killing out of spite.
Yeah, there's also spite.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of danger involved.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot of danger. I'd probably stay away.
Right. When you're near her, there's danger.
Yeah, right.
Don't accept coffee.
Everywhere she
whiskey.
goes, danger follows.
Right. Don't ingest anything that she gives you.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Even a glass of water that you watched her pour, you don't know what's in her fucking system.
Right. It's crazy that she
probably put some shit in the water supply.
Yeah. It's just crazy to think about, like killing your own mom, killing your own sister, killing your own children, killing your own grandchildren.
It is crazy to think about. I feel bad for all of the people involved that lost their lives to this Looney Tune.
Right. And like I said, she said that her mom was a good mom.
Yeah, she said that she had a great mom and that her mom took care of her when her dad was a douche and
right.
all of the things. And she's still like, hey, fuck you, I'm going to kill you.
Right. So, yeah.
Well, thanks.
Sure.
Thanks for bringing this to me today.
Sure, no problem.
She definitely killed Charlie's mom.
I think so.
I don't think it's speculation. I think it's probably definitely that's what happened.
Probably fact.
It's probably definitely the case.
Probably most likely what happened.
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Mama.
No problema.
No problemo, Mama. You can follow us on Instagram at That's Disturbing Podcast. We deleted our website since no one but 2 people wanted to fill out a case request form. So I guess that's not no one. 2 people. Yet we still get DMs to do stuff, which is like cool. Like I made a website. Tears coming out my eyes. No, so we deleted that. So you can either send it to us on Instagram if you have a case request, or you can send it to our Gmail at That's disturbingpodcast@gmail.com. Got anything else?
Nope, I got nothing.
Nothing? All right, happy birthday to me.
Oh yeah, happy birthday, Daphne. You're gonna be old.
I already am.
Okay. I'm the mother of the old one. So
Yeah.
how do you think I feel?
Makes you like dust.
Ah, you're so mean. All right.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.